Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome
to
Bhagavatam Bites, the Wednesday edition. No, it's Monday. Monday edition. So behind us we have this beautiful picture of Shri Radha but we're in our new abode, which is closer to Shri Radha Gokulananda. And we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Canto 3, Chapter 31, Text 39. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
All right. Text 39. One who aspires to reach the culmination of yoga and has realized his self by rendering service unto me should never associate with an attractive woman. For such a woman is declared in the scripture to be the gateway to hell for the advancing devotee. Purport. The culmination of yoga is full Krishna consciousness. This is affirmed in Bhagavad Gita. A person who is always thinking of Krishna in devotion is the topmost of all yogis. And in the second chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also stated that when one becomes freed from material contamination by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can at that time understand the science of God. So it says in the verse that that you should steer clear of attractive women, for they're the gateway to hell if you want to advance as a devotee. It reminds me of how fleeting beauty is, actually, because you might think you're with an attractive woman and then you risk everything to be with that person, maybe cultural boundaries or upset family or people, and then a few years down the line they're no longer very attractive. I just remind you of something I saw in the news. I won't go into too much detail because it might upset people, but this person, and I won't say who it is either because that might upset you, but it might not actually, but they're deemed as being quite, some people would say, attractive now. But it's quite funny because someone unearthed their picture at their christening and they look quite awful, actually. Everyone was laughing at it on social media because it was and then the point was, okay, they're baby, but clearly down the years they've had masses of surgery and stuff to look like what they do now. So I was thinking, how fleeting and temporary and false almost beauty is, and how people go crazy for that level of beauty.
Yeah, it's true.
And it can be gone, just as it can be gained falsely or whatever. It can be taken away so quickly, and then what?
Well, what's that? I think it's it's definitely in Science of Self-Realization. The story called Liquid Beauty.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're all familiar with that, but this man approaches a lady and, says, all right, you're right, sweet, and wanted to kind of, be with her, and she could tell that he was just interested in her external appearances. So she said, just give me, I think, a week, and then come back and you can definitely enjoy my beauty, kind of thing. So then she spent that week on purgatives and laxatives, basically vomiting and passing. And she did it all and saved it in this bucket.
Different buckets.
Well,
it was probably different buckets.
Okay, she was there, she'd know.
No, I read it. Prabhupada said it wasn't just one bucket.
Okay, anyway, several buckets then. And
Of the different things that she did, like vomiting and other things. That's, if that makes sense.
okay. Anyway, when he came back after a week, she looked a mess. She was emaciated, black
Gaunt.
under the eyes, gaunt, and just, she looked like a wreck. And he said, "Where's that other lady?" God saying, "Where's the other one? Where's the beautiful one?" She said, "No, that's me." And he said, "No, can't be." And she said, "No." And he said, "Oh, she was going to enjoy with me." And she said, "No, you can enjoy my beauty." And then she passed him the buckets of liquid beauty, because it seems like if that beauty is gone, and what has been taken away, it's this. And so like that, it means these things are just all physical, and as you mentioned, they're all temporary. I was thinking of something else, but I can't seem to remember. Yeah, of course, the general thing that this can be very strongly misused as a Shastric quote. It can mean that men can be very derogatory towards women in general. And especially if someone is, trying to be a renunciant. Actually, I do remember what I was going to say. Beauty, you mentioned about what people will do for that beauty. Because beauty is an opulence. It's one of the opulences of Krishna also. Krishna is Bhagavan. Bhagavan means one who is the possessor of 6 opulences in full. And of those, beauty is one of them. And so therefore people are attracted. But what they're really attracted to is Krishna. Because Krishna is, as he says in the Gita, he is the source of all opulences. He is the, he says, simply by a spark of my splendor, I pervade all things. So in that way, the beauty of a woman, or beauty of a man, or a beauty of anything is simply a reflection of the spark of Krishna's divine splendor. But we're naturally attracted, handsome man, or handsome woman, or a beautiful woman, or whatever it is. There's an attractive feature there. That attractive feature is Krishna, because it's one of Krishna's opulences. Just like people are also, we were discussing the other day about renunciants, and how it is that a man becomes like a sannyasi or a renunciant, but yet still it's like he almost becomes more attractive to ladies. Ladies are very attracted. And I said it's because renunciation is an opulence. And they were like, "Oh my God, we never thought about that." And it's like, yeah, someone who can appear not to be attracted to something that's meant to be so attractive, that's like a challenge for some, or it's just naturally attractive in the sense that a lady can feel sheltered in that association, because here's a person who's not interested in exploiting me like other men may want to, so I think that's kind of the idea.
But yeah, also renunciation in itself is attractive.
Yeah, well, that's what I just said.
Yeah, no, let me just elaborate.
Okay.
From a lady's point of view.
Oh, perfect, great.
That when someone's when someone's overtly pursuing you, it's a bit like, whatever, please. And then when they act in a way that it's like, all right, whatever, then you're like, oh, hello.
I'm here.
And when they're actually not doing it in a verse way, but they're actually naturally just
not interested,
then you're like, wait, what?
Interesting.
So I've heard.
Yeah. Okay, next paragraph. Instead of being attracted by material beauty, if one is accustomed to being attracted by the beauty of Radharani and Krishna, then the statement of the Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishtva Navartate, holds.
Wait. You're not reading the correct purport.
Sorry. We'll try again. Here, the word, I started to realize, I've heard this before. Here the word pratilabdatma labha occurs. Pratilabdatma labha occurs. Atma means self, and labha means gain. Generally, conditioned souls have lost their Atma or self, but those who are transcendentalists have realized the self. It is directed that such a self-realized soul who aspires to the topmost platform of yogic perfection should not associate with young women. In the modern age, however, there are so many rascals who recommend that while one has genitals, he should enjoy women as much as he likes, and at the same time he can become a yogi. In no standard yoga system is the association of women accepted. Interesting. It is clearly stated here that the association of women is the gateway to hellish life. The association of woman is very much restricted in the Vedic civilization. Out of the 4 social divisions, the brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi, 3 orders are strictly prohibited from the association of women. Only the grihastas or householders are given license to have an intimate relationship with a woman. And that relationship is also restricted for begetting nice children. If, however, one wants to stick to continued existence in the material world, he may indulge in female association unrestrictedly. Wow. No, I mean, here's some serious stuff. We've discussed before this statement that, the 3 orders are generally restricted. Vanaprastha, as far as I've understood, although Prabhupada's saying it here, is not necessarily a restriction because the husband and wife are traveling together. They're both retired. And even, as I mentioned, I think once before, there are four levels or 5 levels of sannyas. And the first one is where the husband takes sannyas, but he lives just outside of the house or just outside of the village, and the wife still cooks for him and takes. So there's clearly restriction in a general sense that one is giving up that attachment, whereas householder life, But at the same time, if this is what you do in householder life, you come together and you read Bhagavatam and you discuss Krishna and you do service for Krishna and you give Lakshmi to Krishna and you work to raise your children in a Krishna conscious environment, well, then there are quotes from Srila Prabhupada where he clearly says that there's no need to take sannyas because you're already a sannyasi, you're already renounced. Because the goal of life is to be engaged in service of Krishna and develop a loving relationship with Krishna. And if you can work together with a partner in order to do that, then that is perfection. You're already in the perfected platform. Arjuna was a military man, a prince, and Krishna didn't tell him he had to become a sannyasi. In fact, he explained time and time again in the Gita that real sannyas means to do your duty, but to do it for me. That's real renunciation. So like that. Any thoughts?
Mm-mm.
All right.
All right, text 14. The woman created by the Lord is the representation of Maya, and one who associates with such Maya by accepting services must certainly know that this is the way of death, just like a blind well covered with grass. Wow. Okay. Sometimes it happens that a rejected well is covered by grass, and an unwary traveller who does not know the existence of the well falls down and his death is assured. That's not nice to cover it with grass, is it?
I'm not sure if it means that I think it's covered by the growth of grass around it. It becomes unused.
Oh, all right, that's all right then. Similarly, association with a woman begins when one accepts service from her. because woman is especially created by the Lord to give service to man. By accepting her service, a man is entrapped. If he is not intelligent enough to know that she is the gateway to hellish life, he may indulge in her association very liberally. This is restricted for those who aspire to ascend to the transcendental platform. Even 50 years ago in Hindu society, such association was restricted. A wife could not see her husband during the daytime.
Yeah, that sounds
Like a
pretty
vampire, because they're like vampires. Householders even had different residential quarters. The internal quarters of a residential house were for the woman, and the external quarters were for the man, like the shed. Acceptance of service rendered by a woman may appear very pleasing, but one should be very cautious in accepting such service, because it is clearly said that woman is the gateway to death or forgetfulness of oneself. She blocks the path of spiritual realization.
Krishna Kanaya Govinda Jaya Gopala Hari 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 Bol.
So just so it's known, that does work both ways.
Yeah. For a woman, man can be the gateway to death.
Or they can be deaf, yeah. They can get killed, but
You're gonna be the death of me.
but meaning, because as I can understand from this, men are not able to like control themselves around a woman. So when someone's aspiring to be a devotee as a woman, it can be very annoying when men act like men. Does that make sense?
No, can you explain?
So when you're trying to be a devotee as a woman, going to the temple, mind your own business, and then the men just can't behave themselves.
In what way?
Oh my days! So it's
Like they start chasing after you or something?
yeah.
Okay.
Can I just say that's very annoying? And just because they're like in the male form, but they're trying to be devotees as well, but because they got this conditioning, they can't. So, shout out. Even, yeah, just say that.
Krishna. Okay, and on that happy note, maybe we'll wrap up for this Monday session. Yeah. So, anyway, it's a lot to take in and understand in the proper context, and I think we should be very, very careful to for men to not take this as a license to be derogatory towards women, as if women are the enemy. Mm-hmm. Although it's definitely kind of sounding like that is not the case. In a sense, I mean, okay, yeah, Prabhupada made the statement, all men should remain brahmachari and all women should get married. And then the leader said, Prabhupada, how are we supposed to do that? And he said, that's for you to figure out. So, there are statements. Of course, brahmachari life, renounced life, not getting involved with the family is certainly going to be the most theoretically simple for one's spiritual life. But most people just are not conditioned into that type of nature. So it's not really so much of a practical reality. So therefore, one has to be careful, but also attachment and aversion are two sides of the same coin. So if in the name of being detached one becomes averse, you haven't made any progress. So, anyway.
Yeah, it's like if you know what banoffee pie is.
Do I know
it's
what
quite a
banoffee
nice.
pie
No, I'm
is?
talking to the viewers.
Yeah.
It's a nice dessert. I do make it.
I know,
Not
because she makes a great banoffee pie.
So if someone left that tray of it on the table, I'd be like, oh, what's that? And I'm trying, trying to stay on the straight and narrow, calorie-wise. But, so I can't say that banoffee pie is evil and all banoffee pie is evil just because I can't stay out of the banoffee pie. Or I can't have the ability just to cut a little corner and just try it and put the rest away in the fridge or the freezer even, because I'd come and get it from the freezer and eat it. So in the same way, that's why I'm understanding what's being said here. It's not saying necessarily all women are evil, but within the paradigm of, like you said, trying to, for a man, for example, be on this path of self-realization and control the senses, they themselves need to understand how much can I interact with this banoffee pie in the form of a woman and how much should I not, because I know that even for some people who just saying Hare Krishna, Mataji, how are you, sends them off the rails, So that's for me to rein in my own senses and not eat the whole banoffee pie and deal with it. And what do I need to do to deal with that? That makes sense.
Kind of right up until the end, yeah.
Okay. But the point is, it doesn't mean banoffee pie is evil. That's my point. Because I could get annoyed because I'm trying to be strict, and then it's like, what'd you bring this in here for? Throwing a bin. I don't ever want to see a banoffee pie in this house again.
Okay, so we're going to title this class Banoffee Pie. Watch your banoffee pie. Steer clear of the banoffee pie. Okay, I think we should wrap up now.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Thank you very much for being with us, and please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.